as we go into the fourth quarter.
Well, I think at the end of the game, no matter what the score is, it won't show how far apart the game really was.
There have been about 7 different lineups on the floor tonight for Norristown. Coach McGee taking advantage of the opportunity to get the minutes for Blake, to get the minutes for Johnson, to get some minutes for Danny Evans, Milan Dean. He's clearing the bench. James Stewart. I think Neil Schaefer is going to get ready to check in a moment.
I don't think so.
Neil Schaefer, if you put him out on the floor for 20 minutes, he's going to be good for maybe 3 points and 2 boards. I mean,
I don't think I have any eligibility left.
I looked into that, and you do have a semester left. So Coach McGee can look to you again for the 3 points and 2 boards. 64-31. Fourth quarter just underway. Chris Blake spots up, comes up short, rebound Johnson. Nice job getting the loose ball rebound, the floorboard as they call it. Danny Evans goes long, rebound Alabach, who's played hard all night for Quakertown. Trying to work it inside, Detweiler gets the foul. We will say goodbye and thank you very much to Jason Session. Did a great job tonight. We look forward to hearing more of him on NASD TV.
That's right.
Great recruiting job, Neil.
Jason is my prodigy student, doing a good job right now. He has to go. He's got another commitment, but we want to thank him, and hopefully he'll be back next year and doing some girls games.
Great job. Lots of guys here in the stable for NASD TV. Greg Fry, also an outstanding student broadcaster.
Yeah, Greg Fry's moving up to the senior role next year as a 3-year commentator now, and he's done football games too, so he has a lot of experience there.
I think they're going to Dan Deerdorf me, and my days are numbered here.
Oh, well, I think they might Dan Deerdorf me too. I think there might be another position opening up for me in the sports realm soon.
And what's that?
I'm not at liberty to speak about that right now.
An area sports position?
I'm not at liberty to speak about it right now. But there is an opportunity for me to.
Does it have anything to do with broadcasting?
Yes, it does. And I'm going to have to, well, I guess it's communications, not so much broadcasting. As Dean puts up a 3-pointer, and it's rebounded by Rob Armstrong. I have an opportunity elsewhere. Ooh, Funk! He got fouled. He should have gone to the free throw line there. But it has been a pleasure. I'll tell you, it has been a pleasure doing both the boys and the girls games. The girls, because they've improved a lot dramatically since the first game when they looked really flat coming out of the stables. But now Norristown girls team, they have 6 or 7 victories, and they look like a real squad put it together. It's been a real treat to watch this Norristown boys squad, because I had the pleasure of going over to Hatboro and seeing them beat Hatboro in Hatboro, and then seeing them beat Hatboro here and just demolishing other teams like tonight. And it's been fun to announce these games. And I know it's been fun for you and for Greg to do these games as well as the girls' games. But we all have opportunities that we must take. I'm doing play-by-play at Ursinus, public address and play-by-play at Ursinus, and I may be continuing with that, or I might be able to take this other opportunity and run with it.
How about that, Neil? That almost sounds like a resignation there. I'm going to tear up in a minute.
No, I would never leave Norristown basketball, because I really think that Coach McGee runs a tight ship, and he runs a good program and a quality program, not just in victories, but he knows that his boys are getting something out of each game.
Coach McGee, I'm a big fan of his, an area gentleman, and graduate of Bishop Kenrick, the alma mater of my wife. I'm a big Kenrick backer, but he's over here across town at Norristown High School and continues to do one of the most outstanding jobs year after year in the area in boys basketball.
Well, Coach, not to make a commercial for Coach McGee, but before he came to Norristown, he was at St. Pius X High School in Pottstown and took a state championship there in 1978 and 79. And I'm from the Pottstown area, and I know that Tom McGee took some average or a little bit above average teams and made them into superstar teams. I remember when I was in high school in the late 80s, he took a team in 1986-87 that really should have had a prayer against a lot of teams like Pottstown and Pottsgrove, and he really built them up to a place where you didn't want to play Pius anymore, because they always had an opportunity to beat you. I pretty much equate them with Abington right now. Abington has a chance of beating or upsetting a lot of top teams, and Coach McGee has this knack for molding young talent into really good basketball players, and he's done the same thing here with people like Milan Dean and Marcus Green. and he'll continue with Marcus Green next year.
You know where else that shows? I have an opportunity to be friends with one of Coach McGee's prodigies. You were mentioning Jason Sessions is your prodigy. Dean Behrens at Penn Ridge Area High School. Obviously an assistant here at Norristown for a number of years under Coach McGee, did a great job, and as much as he loved the opportunity to become a head coach, he hated leaving Norristown under Coach McGee's wing, and he's got Penn Ridge with 10 wins up there, a team that had won 1 game last year, 2 games the year before, the first time they'll be in the playoffs in 15 years. And he was under the wing of Coach McGee, and it really rubbed off. And he's got a great program beginning there. Sounds like a young Tom McGee at St. Pius.
Yeah, I would hate to politic Coach of the Year honors away from Tom McGee, but I think Tom would be the first to agree that Dean Behrens took a struggling, fledgling program at Penn Ridge, built it up to a 10-game winner and a playoff spot in District 1 playoffs. That's quite an accomplishment. You know, so many times we overlook coaches of the year who build a team from nothing to something. We give it always to the guy who has the most honors or the best record. I think Tom McGee would forfeit Coach of the Year just to give Dean Behrens a boost there.
Well, he certainly didn't make any bones about it. When I walked up to him, and the first thing he said out of his mouth when I mentioned Dean was Coach of the Year. So he obviously already has his vote. There's Ali Galami with some points.
Quakertown trying to put on a run here, although it's a little too late when you're down by 29 points. Galami now has 13 points, Funk with 14, and that's pretty much the scoring for Quakertown. And I'll tell you what, James Stewart has shown me more tonight than he has all season, and Chris Blake also has some moves in there. And like Jason said before he left, Raheem Brooks, although he's not hitting 3-pointers tonight, he's a good player out there, not just on offense, but on defense as well. As Funk sort of getting into a rhythm.
Trying desperately to get in a rhythm. You had mentioned Abington. Penn Ridge actually beat Abington this year. That's the first time that has ever occurred. So Coach Behrens has that program shaped up, and that's a big win for that Penn Ridge program.
Yeah, Abington is definitely a good team because they came in here and gave Norristown a scare. That was for Coach McGee's 300th victory. Fortunately, the Eagles came out and we were able to steal that game away from Abington. But Penn Ridge beating Abington, that shows something about Dean Behrens. Dean Behrens is going to go up against a tough Glen Mills squad. Any squad with Glen Mills is tough because they just seem to bring a presence along with them to the game. Especially when you're playing at their home gym. But tonight is a great job here on the floor at Norristown Area High School with a great dribbling job by Milan Dean, who makes and creates a shot, little Kobe Bryant-esque there on the court. Yeah, it didn't go in, but it looked good. And well, he broke someone's ankles out there at the top of the key. He did a great job off the dribble. I heard the snap all the way up here, and I'll tell you, down the stretch in the playoffs, those baskets are going to fall, and it's just going to bring the crowd to its feet. Milan Dean doing a great job offensively, and it's a senior night, as we had mentioned. Chris Blake, the senior, he's going to take it all the way in, dishes it off, but got fouled before he could get rid of it. But senior night, a very touching night. A lot of the players' families are out here to catch this game, and they've got to be quite happy with the outcome. 66-37, 2:39 left to go. Yeah, we were able to broadcast the game, the last girls' game, when they honored the 3 seniors. Springman, Jablonski, Raheem Brooks drops one down. Jablonski, Springman, and Kasira, and I'll tell you, those 3 girls really turned it on in their last home game. They each of them had double figures, and it's the same thing tonight. Weldon, Wiggins, they're all putting on a show for the fans and in their last game, and for their special guests, as Galami lays down a 3-pointer. It was nice to see their family here. Their mothers or fathers or sisters or friends, and it was a very nice tribute to all the seniors. Quakertown cuts into the lead. Now they're only down by 28 points. The first time they've been down by less than 30 since the first quarter. Yeah, this is actually coming to a close game now. Like Jason said, and you read in the newspaper tomorrow, they only won by 28 or whatever. But they have to remember that they were up by as much as 33 points at one point. And Norristown just sort of running on idle right now, trying to do some different things with different players. all substitutes on the floor right now.
Brooks shoots the ball down, trying to find Evans. He does a great job tracking the ball down and getting off a respectable shot, and it comes off the rim. Good job by Evans, showing some speed. Galami just firing the three right now. Knocks it down.
He's got 19 of the 43 points for Quakertown.
Well, I had Galami pegged between 20 and 25, and they certainly didn't come easy, and they didn't come quick, and they don't mean a darn thing at this point in the game, but he's going to get his points and keep his scoring average, one of the highest scorers in the area. James Stewart doing some scoring of his own tonight. Does an impression of Shaquille O'Neal, spins baseline and gets off a shot, showing a little bit of foot speed.
Yeah, number 20, Mike McFadden, committed his 5th foul right there.
I wouldn't be surprised if Stewart's knocked in close to double figures tonight. I'm not sure, but he's done a nice job.
He only has 4 points. It seems like he should have more than that, but he's been on the floor for 3 quarters, doing a lot of rebounding.
He's been very active.
Yes, he has. And you mentioned number 54, Mike Regan, who's probably like 6'3", 220 pounds, standing next to. What, you don't think so?
I think he's a little heavier than that. Really?
Standing next to James Stewart, though, he looks like a dwarf.
He does.
I mean, James Stewart's got to be like 6'8", I'd say, what? Almost 300 pounds? He makes huge.
He makes Regan look like his little brother.
Yeah. Holy cow. Look at him standing next to him.
Well, this backup unit for Norristown, active on defense, not giving up anything easy. Blake goes for the block, affects the shot, and Galami with some crazy type of a foul. With less than 50 seconds left, he fouls Danny Evans. Well, Neil, we'd like to thank the NASD TV crew at this point in time. Sam Galbraith, Mr. Galbraith, doing an outstanding job working the camera tonight.
Director, producer, cameraman, all-around man, Sam Galbraith. Of course, Tony Koya, the Director of Communications, and everybody back in the communications room center helping us out with the videotape. I know that games are going out on a regular basis. As Funk lays down another three-pointer, the games are going out on a regular basis. A lot of people are coming up to me and saying, I saw the Cheltenham game, I saw the Hatboro-Horsham game, and it was just as exciting, even though they knew the result, watching us and listening to our comments, which is what we're here for.
Funk now with 17. He fouls Johnson going to the basket. Funk's got 17. Galami with 19. That's 36 of the 46 from Quakertown. Anybody else with any numbers? Regan's got 4.
Regan's
He's the only
got
other
4,
one
yeah.
with more than 1 bucket. Well, we knew that coming into tonight. We mentioned they've got 2 scorers on the floor, and that's exactly what happened. Norristown benefited from having probably 6 or 7 guys who did some nice scoring. You know what? Eric Wiggins hardly scored at all. Yeah,
Eric Wiggins only had 3 points. Didn't play a lot of the game.
Nope.
He's been sick the last couple days.
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing. Coach McGee knows that, as Stewart puts in the basket there, he knows that Wiggins isn't feeling 100%, and he knows that he can sit him down, and that Wiggins won't be offended by that, and the team won't suffer for it, because as Tom McGee goes down and shakes the gentleman's hands, the team won't suffer for it because you got people like Raheem Brooks and Danny Evans and Daryl Johnson that'll just fill his shoes right like at the snap of a finger.
Well, as Shaquille O'Neal does, Stewart does not have very much success from the line. We're under 6 seconds left. Get the ball into Regan. He comes up short, and there's been a lot of fouling. This game would have been over 15 minutes ago if we hadn't had any fouls called here in the last quarter.
Oh, Chris Blake did that. I think he did get him in the box score because he doesn't have any points yet, I don't think. And I think that Chris Blake wanted to get his name in the newspaper. Chris Blake is one of those unique players that probably at a lot of other schools would be a starter, but because he's buried so deep on this bench full of talent that he's the last one off. He's getting a lot of playing time tonight. He's a star quarterback for the Norristown Eagle football team, and he's also a decent basketball player, quite reminiscent of another basketball player football. I think his name is Bono or something like that, Steve Bono, who did the same thing for Norristown. He was a great football player and played on the basketball team as well back in the 80s.
Well, time expires here at Norristown Area High School. Final score tonight, 71-47, does not tell the story of what occurred here on the floor. 17-0 run by Norristown, 26-4 at the end of the first quarter. The halftime score was 47-14, and then since then in the second half, the the level of play deteriorated substantially, and that led to the final score of 71-47 in a real yawner. Neil, does this, how do you think this will affect the team heading into the playoffs?
I don't think it'll affect them at all. I think that it just gives them something to talk about and to think about and to relax and move into the playoffs. You said that they're going to take up the winner of Upper Dublin and Springfield Delco. I don't think they're going to have a problem with that first round at all. Although Upper Dublin, they did go to Upper Dublin and they had a little scare in the beginning because they came out flat. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think everybody needs to rest up. I think Wiggins needs to get healthy. I think Damian Solomon needs to get back into a uniform. And everybody, including Jim Edmonds, who I'm not sure how long that foot injury is going to keep him out, they all need to, check all their spark plugs and make sure all the wires are just right so that when they go into that first game, they can make a statement. I'm telling you, a 30-point blowout wouldn't be a shock for me. A 30-point, 40-point blowout in the first game because they'll be so pumped up. That'll make a statement to every other team in the playoffs saying, watch out for Norristown.
This team feeds off itself, and they do a good job of scoring points in bunches tonight. Neil, who do you think really stood out for Norristown? Pick out one or two guys who you really like the performance of.
Well, Marcus Green early on really heightened his team up. He had 12 points, but he got into foul trouble and sat out most of the second half. I'll tell you a guy who I think could have had a better game. Milan Dean had 11 points. He had a couple laps there where he missed. He could have probably been over 20 points. And Brad Weldon, of course, always dishes in a good dozen points, and that's what he did tonight. I'll tell you who I really liked out there tonight. I like to see Brahim Brooks because he handles himself well on the court. And another guy, Lee Fowler, did play a good game tonight. He's starting to realize his role, maybe not as the slam dunk king anymore, but as more of get those rebounds back out to Weldon and Wiggins and all those other guys that can shoot up those three-pointers. And that's where Fowler should get those assists and get more and more playing time.
Well, the names in the scoring column are not as familiar as normal, but the results are the same. Right before I wrap things up, Neil, is that the hint of a goatee I see on your face there?
Absolutely not. Just forgot to shave this morning,
All right,
John.
looked like a goatee growing, and we will thank you very much for joining us tonight from Norristown Area High School, as we do for all of our home broadcasts. Again, I'm John Price, tonight joined by Neil Schaefer and Jason Session. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next time at the game.